Friends, is it okay if I start by asking you a question? If it is okay, please type okay in the chat box. Please type okay if it is in the chat box. If I can start by asking you a question. Thank you, Risha. Thank you, Thiru. Thank you, Prasunji. Friends, who is the person in this picture and what is he doing? You can unmute yourself and speak, or you can type in the chat. You don't need to know the story. You can, even from what you are seeing on the screen, you can share with me who's the person, what is he trying to do.
Probably any one of us leading a life and, kind of trying to do the best he can.
Thank you, Risha. Trying to negotiate situations, yeah. Thank you, Prasunji. Let's see if there is anybody else who would like to share. Friends, please keep sharing. I'll, in the meanwhile, share. This is the story of King Sisyphus. King Sisyphus is a Greek king who was cursed to roll this stone up the mountain every single day. And by the end of the day, with great difficulty, he would roll this up. And the curse was that it would roll down again as soon as it was about to reach the top. And next day, Sisyphus had to again, roll the stone up. And that, friends, was my story at a certain stage of my in my life, where I was working hard and harder, and still the results that I was getting were the same. And I wanted better results, and I was performing more and more actions, working longer hours, but still the results were not coming. And I used to wonder, why is it that my results are not improving? Every day I would get up, go to office, like Sisyphus, push the work up and come back home, and next day the same story would be repeated. All this was going on till one day I happened to meet my friend Mr. Rohan Singhal and learn from him about the state of being. And that was a transformative the day for me. Would you like to know what this state of being is and how it transformed my life? If you would like to know what is state of being, please type BIO in the chat box. Bring it on. If you would like to know what is state of being, please type BIO. Thank you, Rakeshji. Thank you, Thiru. Thank you, Prasunji. So friends, let me explain the state of being with the help of this prop. This is a small plant which is planted in a pot. And if I were to plant a tree or sow a seed, is that the only condition that is enough for the seed to grow or for the plant to grow? Please type in the chat or unmute yourself. खाली पेड़ लगाने से ही वो पेड़ बड़ा हो जाएगा क्या? What are the other things that are required for the tree to grow, for the plant to grow? What is the primary condition for the tree to grow? Yes, Krishna, thank you. Certainly it will not grow just because I have taken the action. Thank you, Risha. We need water, sunlight, mud. Thank you, Krishna. Sunlight, mud. Friends, carbon, CO2, oxygen. Yes, we need oxygen. Thus, mud is like the state of being. किस मिट्टी में हमने बीज बोया है वो बहुत important है. And that state of being or the state of mind is very important. And when I realized that, I started paying attention to my state of being, my state of mind, and I, today work lesser and lesser and earning more and more. So that is the transformation which happens when the actions turn from being mechanical, which we are doing in an automatic mode on a day-to-day basis, to paying attention to our state of mind, and then our actions become magnetic. Another, just to take this discussion further, if I were to think that I am responsible for growing this tree because I planted that tree or I sowed the seed, would that be right? Because the earth was not made, the mud was not made by me, The tree or the seed was not made by me. The water is not made by me. The sunlight is not made by me. But I feel that the tree has grown because I planted it. Is that the right conclusion to draw? That, all that is happening in my life is because of what I am doing. And that is the kind of perspective I got when I was discussing with Rakesh ji about Gita, and he talked about the right way of doing karma. And I was very impressed with what he was doing and the extensive research he has done in the field of in studying Gita. And I requested him to come and share his insights with us on the mindful living community. He is a very busy person. It took me 3 months to get time from him, and we are grateful to Rakesh ji for taking out time and for conducting this session today. Rakesh
Thank
ji,
you.
thank you, Rakesh ji. Rakesh ji is an ex-colleague. We worked together in Xerox, where he was the HR head and quality controller. His work was world class, and he won many rewards internationally. And thereafter, he worked with BSNL and Airtel before starting Prime Performance Solutions, his own organization, which he has been successfully running for over 10 years now. And he has helped more than 200 business owners as a business coach in improving their performance and growing their companies. His training sessions have been attended by over 50,000 people. So we are really blessed to have you, Rakesh ji, with us today.
Thank you. It's my pleasure.
Thank you, Rakesh ji. Friends, before I hand over the stage to Rakesh ji, I'll just take a minute to introduce myself because some of you are joining us for the first time. My name is Ashish, and I am the founder of Mindful Living. I started Mindful Living in 2018 after working in the corporate sector for over 25 years in senior management roles with organizations like Tata Group, Future Group, HCL, Dabur Group, etc. Working in the corporate sector, I saw how stressed the people are, and how it impacts their health and happiness, their relationships. And I thought that's not the only way in which people should live. And it struck me that I should do something to alleviate the stress, to reduce the stress which people are facing and help them become happier and wealthier. And with that mission, I started Mindful Living to help 1 million professionals become healthier, happier, and wealthier. In the last 3 years, we have conducted over 250 sessions with leading organizations like Aditya Birla Group, Tata Group, IBM, EXL, Kotak Life, HDFC Life, and many others in helping their employees reduce their stress, become more productive, collaborate better, and become better leaders. The session today is being organized as a part of the Mindful Living Community Initiative, which this community started in April 2020 during COVID, when 10 of our friends got together to practice mindfulness. Today, this group of 10 friends which started practicing together has grown to a vibrant community of over 1,000 people, and who come together every week to discuss, debate, and learn about mindfulness, different aspects of mindfulness. In case you would like to be a part of this vibrant mindfulness community, you can do so by clicking on the link that we have put in the chat. It's a WhatsApp community, and there are no charges. It's complimentary, and we share information about mindfulness, and we conduct sessions every weekend. Friends, just a few ground-keeping rules. This is not a podcast which you can listen to by keeping your camera off. Please keep your cameras on. And it is not also a TV show where you can lie back and enjoy. It's not an entertaining show. We would encourage you to be fully engaged in the discussion. There is a reaction button in the toolbar. Use that reaction button to say thumbs up, or to show the clap sign, or to show any other emotion that you experience. In case there is something that resonates with you, you can type BO, bulb on, in the chat box, so that we know that this is something which the speaker has said, which has resonated with you. You can type your comments and questions. The question and answer session will be towards the end, but you can type your questions during the session so that we can take a note of it. So on that note, friends, welcome once again to you and to Rakeshji, and over to you, Rakeshji.
Thank you, Ashish ji. And thank you very much for such a lovely introduction. And I'm really delighted to hear from you the kind of work you are doing, the mindfulness. I think this is very much required. This is very much the need of the day.
Thank you.
And in this connection, you have given me the opportunity to speak about my learning about Gita. I don't claim to be an authority on this, and probably nobody can be, because the learnings of Gita are so immense and so profound that except Bhagavan Krishna, probably nobody else can claim to be knowing what he is trying to say. There are thousands of commentaries which have been written on Gita, and every day probably there is something or the other is being spoken or on written about Gita. So Gita is a book which is probably one of the most published book in the world, and Gita is the book which is being found in almost every household in India at least, and every Hindu finds it very relevant, but there are few people who have actually read it, and very few people who have actually understood it, very few people who have been able to bring it into their life. So reading is one thing, and then understanding is another thing, and then trying to apply that knowledge in their own life is completely another thing. So these are the different dimensions of reading Gita, and today I'm going to share with you a very little of what I have been able to understand, and a little what I have tried to implement in my own life. So I am actually going to talk about that. Here we are going to talk about mainly that how Gita can help us lead the life of happiness and prosperity. We are going to talk about how Gita is actually going to work as the instruction manual for a happy life. Gita is not a religious book. Gita is also not the spiritual book. I actually find it the book for living and leading the life. Like with every machine, when a machine is produced in the industry, at that point of time, there is also an instruction manual given with each and every machine. Similarly, when human being comes, there is no instruction manual, but if you read Gita, you will find that Gita is the actual instruction manual for leading the happy and prosperous life. If you take Gita that way, then it will actually serve the purpose for which it has been spoken. Gita, if you look at the picture itself, has been spoken in a very controversial environment. Here, there is a guru and there is a student, and they are talking in the middle of the battlefield, where like crores of army and weapons and huge environment of controversy and the battlefield, the hustle and bustle of the life is going on, and in the middle of that, these two souls are speaking to each other. So this actually depicts the environment in our life on daily basis. On daily basis, we come across to the battle in our life, And if we can listen to Bhagwan Krishna, what he talks to Arjun, and what he is sharing to Arjun, that how should he take the life at that point of time, actually the same learning we can also implement in our life. So Gita has been referred by lots of people, and about Gita, lots of people have already spoken. Here I am showing you about Albert Einstein. He says that when I read Bhagavad Gita and reflect about how God created this universe, everything else seems to be so superfluous. I have made the Bhagavad Gita as the source of my inspiration and guide for the purpose of scientific investigation and formation of my theories. Such a profound statement by Albert Einstein, the biggest scientist ever we have seen in our lives. So why I am actually talking about this is that Gita is not a Hindu religious book. If we take it that way, then we are completely mistaken. Rather, it is a science. And the more you study it, the more you go deeper into it, you will find that it opens up the various dimensions of life. It opens up lots of things probably we have not even thought of. And that is why the people like Albert Einstein and so many others, the thousands of the other celebrities across the world, they talk so great about Gita. A couple of things I am going to share today on what I have learned. Some introduction about Gita. There are 700 shlokas, and out of these 700 shlokas, 574 shlokas have been spoken by Krishna. 84 shlokas have been spoken by Arjun. And these 84 shlokas consist of some comments given by him, some answers given by him, and majority of them are the questions. Then Sanjay is the commentator, and at times he gives his views. And there are 41 shlokas which have been spoken by Sanjay. And there is only one shlok which has been spoken by Dhritarashtra. And that's the first shlok which he speaks. And after that, for around 45 minutes, he just keeps quiet. As it is said, Gita was spoken in 45 minutes. And for that time, he just remained silent. So we'll talk about more a little that how silence actually is important in life. Today, what we are going to talk about, some of the principles which generally are referred as the principle of prosperous and happy life, like the fulfillment of the commitment and full commitment to the learning by surrender, principle of change, respect for work, the respect for duty. We'll also try and touch upon the principle of detachment, and we'll talk about the principle of focus. We'll also talk about how you master your craft and the role modeling. Some of these things we'll talk about in short. But let's start with the Dhritarashtra, as I was talking about, that he opens the dialogue in Bhagavad Gita, and he speaks one shloka. And after that, he is just listening. For 45 minutes, he is just listening. What does that mean? We are all people filled with lots of smoke inside. We all want to come out of what we have inside us. It's very difficult for us to listen. But when we are speaking, we are actually losing the opportunity to listen. We are losing the opportunity to learn. And when we are losing the opportunity to learn, actually that time is almost a waste for us. So listening and listening attentively is very, very important. Now, everybody listens, but nobody gives the attention. Nobody gives the attention to the speaker. Rather, when one is listening, at that point of time, he is evaluating, he is judgmental, he is thinking that what answer he is going to give. He is just waiting for the speaker to stop. And the moment he stops, and sometimes even before stopping of the speaker, the listener gets into the way and he starts speaking. So listening is so difficult, but by his behavior, by his way of conducting for 45 minutes, Dhritarashtra gives us a big lesson. And that lesson is that we should be a patient listener. If we are the patient listener, then we'll be able to understand that what the speaker is talking about. And that is why towards the end of 45 minutes, when the Gita is over, Dhritarashtra comments, he gives his comment to Sanjay that now I have understood. I have understood the complete story, and I have understood what is going to happen to this war. So that is the importance of listening patiently. And this is one lesson we get from Bhagavad Gita. When we are listening, at that point of time, we are giving the other person to give the complete vent out. And you must have seen that many times in relationship, only listening is required. If you have some kind of a stiff with your son, with your wife, or with your friend, if you just give the patient listening, the patient hearing, then you will be able to cool down the other person, and you will be able to create the new dimensions in your relationship. Try and do that. Then what is very important is that when we are interacting in these kind of sessions, it is important that we completely surrender to the learning. Unfortunately and fortunately, we all have lots of knowledge. We have gathered lots of knowledge. When we go to some teacher, at that point of time, we are always having a very great perception about our knowledge, and we don't completely surrender. As a result, we go to the great teachers, we go to various classes, we go to various seminars, and from there, we just return back empty-handed. We return back empty-handed. But when Arjun realizes that he is not actually able to understand that what to do in this kind of situation, and he had only one person in front of him who used to be his friend, Lord Krishna, till some time back, he completely surrenders to him. And he says कि मैं आपका शरणागत हूं, आप मुझे शिक्षा प्रदान करें. I am your disciple. I surrender to you. I have taken refuge in you. Kindly educate me. So here, what he is trying to say is that I surrender to you. People have lots of misconceptions about themselves, and people have lots of misconception about the knowledge itself. Some intellectual knowledge they have, and they think that they have the knowledge, but reality is that knowledge is something different. I would like to share a quick story here with you. What happened that there was a master. This master, very famous man, very knowledgeable man, and he had written lots of books about philosophy of life, about life. He was very well-known person. Then he was still thinking that something is missing. He was still unhappy. So he came to know about some saint, and this saint used to live in jungle, and he went to see him, and he told about himself. Okay, Guruji, this is what I am, and I am still dissatisfied. So I want you to give me some education. You give me some lessons. So Guruji looked at him from head to toe, and he said, okay, fine. But before that, here is a piece of paper. What you need to do is, on the one side of the paper, you just write down what all you know. And on the other side, you just write down what all you don't know. So that, because you are already a very knowledgeable person, so when you come back at that point of time, we will not spend any time in discussing on what all you know. You are already a very knowledgeable person. So we will only spend the time on what all you don't know. And thereafter, he said, okay, fine, tomorrow we'll meet again. So overnight, this man keeps on thinking, and next day morning, he rushes back to the Guru, and this paper is still blank. And he said that, Guruji, I kept on thinking the entire night, but I actually could not find out what all I know. I realized that I didn't know anything, because whatever I knew till yesterday, I realized that it was all bookish. Nothing of what I knew I have been able to implement and make part of my life. So learning actually is not the intellectual knowledge. Education is not about knowing something at the intellectual level. Education becomes education when you bring it to your life. And for that purpose, you need to surrender completely to the Guru and implement that teaching into your life. So this is one important lesson of surrendering to the Guru and making it part of the life is another learning of Bhagavad Gita. If we do that, our life will be completely going to a different level and different dimension. We are changing every day. The life is changing every day. The moment when we started this program today, and now around half an hour later, almost 30 minutes have gone by. And in the world, lots of things have happened. And also around us, lots of things happened during this time. If you look at what we were at the time when we were born, and when we were children, and when we went to the school and to the college and to the first job, and then the next job, and got married, and so on and so forth, and what we are today, you will realize that we have changed so much that you can't even recognize what you were a couple of years back. You can't even recognize your own photograph. You can't recognize or your friend's photograph 15 years ago. You can't even recognize that. So it is completely a sea change, and every day it is changing. So one of the principles of happy and the prosperous life is to recognize this change, And that is why Krishna says, Dehino asmin yatha dehe, komaram yovnam jara, tatha dehantar prapti, dhirasthana muhyati. The wise man does not get deluded by this change. Rather, they accept this change, they recognize this change, and they anticipate the change. Most of us know this, that life is changing, but we resist the change. most of us resist going towards the old age. Most of us resist the moment we realize that we are going to get out of the job after some time because we are reaching towards the retirement age, and we feel very unhappy. We start feeling sad. We start anticipating that something is going to happen wrong tomorrow. But reality is that right or wrong have been defined by us. The universe has not created anything as good or bad, or right or wrong. These good or bad or right or wrong, these definitions have been given by the human beings with our own interest and taste. So Krishna says that as the body has been changing, and it has been changing from the childhood to the young age to the old age, and finally one is going to die, and then this soul is going to take the another body, which means that it is continuing. It is continuing. So when it is continuing, but it is continuing with a change. So change is a universal principle of life, and we should accept that. If we accept that, then definitely we are going to be happier than what we are today when we are resisting. Also, the common wisdom is, and especially in when our children are in school, we tell them that you focus that how many marks you are going to bring, what should be your score. When we are in business, we are focused on the revenue, we are focused on the profit. When we are doing business at that point of time, let's say somebody in stock business, so we talk about that how much profit you have earned, etc., etc. So we are always focused on the result. And this is what we teach, this is what we hear. The common wisdom is that focus on the result. And because of this, Arjun was also highly result focused. This is what he has been hearing from the various people in the society. And because of this, he actually got tensed. So look at what happens when somebody is result focused. It actually creates stress, it creates horror, it creates fear, it creates anxiety, it creates lots of things. You look at the state of Arjun. What happens when he is thinking in the battlefield that in front of him there are friends and relatives and gurus and so many others who he have been playing with for many years, and today they are standing in front of him, and either he will kill them or they will kill him. So he becomes so anxious, and he says, Drishtve man swajanan Krishna Yutsun samvasthitan Sidantimam gatrani Mukhancha prishashati वो कह रहे हैं कि my limbs are becoming numb and my mouth is parching, my mouth is drying up. Look at the state of Arjun. Look at the kind of situation, the kind of condition he passes through, because he has just thought that what will happen in the end of this war. He is not focusing now. He is not focusing on the moment at this point of time. He is focusing towards the end of this war. He is looking at that either they will kill us or we will kill them. So something will happen. And probably he also sees such a huge army in front of him. And there could be any possibility. So, and he says also that we don't know, I don't know whether they will win us or we will win them. He further says, Ve patushya sharire me rom harshach jayate gandivam saransate hastat taktavi paridahyate. My bow Gandiva is slipping away from my hand and my skin is burning. My skin is burning. Gandiva was such a big weapon, and Gandiva is now slipping away from his hands and his skin is burning. So this is what is the condition he is passing through because of the stress. So it happened because he was focused on the result. He was not focused on the duty. He was not focused on the work. He was not focused on the process. Process happens in the present. The result happens in future. The moment you leave the present and start projecting towards the future, you generally tends to become anxious in such kind of situation. You start worrying and you become stressed. So Krishna says that we should not actually focus on the result because that is not our right. So he clearly says, कर्मण्येवाधिकारस्ते मा फलेषु कदाचन मा कर्म फल हेतुर्भू ते माते संगो अस्तु कर्मणि मा कर्म फल हेतुर्भू माते संगो अस्तु कर्मणि. He says very clearly, be not instrument in making your action bear fruits, nor let your attachment be to the action. Your right is to work only, but never to the fruits thereof. Never to the fruits thereof. Here, people actually don't understand this. They say that कि हमें कर्म पर ही ध्यान देना चाहिए और हमें रिजल्ट पर नहीं ध्यान देना चाहिए. But actually, they don't understand this. And then people start raising questions. Then why should I work? And since people have not understood it as yet, that is why even today in the business schools and in ordinary life, we always say that let's be result focused. Let us be result focused. But actually, result focus does not work. If you simply plan that next year I'm going to have a revenue of 10 crore and you don't concentrate on the work, will you be able to get the revenue of 10 crore? No, it is actually not so. You will have to focus on the work. More so, if you just keep on talking, keep on focusing on the result, 10 CR, 10 CR, 10 CR, and then the second wave happens, then the first wave happens, then the third wave happens, and you don't know what will happen. So what is your duty? What is your responsibility? What is in your hand? In your hand is only your work. The result depends on thousands of other actions and the incidents happening around the world simultaneously when you are taking your action. So you as a human being, you as an individual have to focus only and only on your work and nothing else. Don't get stressed by the result. If you are thinking about the result simultaneously, then the problem is that you are under the two stresses simultaneously. One is of doing the work, the another stress is of thinking about the result, whether this will be in favor or it will be against. So better get rid of the stress of the result, because that is something which you can't even control. Therefore, it is important that you focus on the karma only. Karmanyevadhikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana. Now, some people say that if it is so, then why should I work? Why should I work? क्योंकि कर्म क्योंकि आप कहते हैं कि रिजल्ट मेरे अधिकार में नहीं है, तो ठीक है, तो रिजल्ट जो भगवान को देना होगा वो भगवान देंगे. कृष्ण ने पूरी गीता में लक के बारे में नहीं कहा है. Krishna has not mentioned about luck anywhere. Krishna only says that the outcome is dependent on so many other things. But Krishna does not say that you don't focus on the work. He says that whatever You need to do whatever is your duty. You need to perform that duty. If you don't perform that duty, then there will be problem. And he says that वो अर्जुन को समझाते हैं कि न मे पार्थास्थि कर्तव्यम त्रिषु लोकेषु किंचन न वाप्तम वाप्तव्यम वर्त एव च कर्मणि. कि हे अर्जुन, there is nothing in all the three worlds for me to do. He talks about himself, that there is nothing in all the three worlds for me to do, nor there is anything worth attaining or attained by me. Yet I continue to work. So I have got everything in this world. Okay. And I don't even ask for something more. I am self-fulfilled, but I am still working. I'm still working. And why I'm still working? He further says, कि यदि ही अहम न वर्तेयम जातु कर्मण्य तंद्रिता मम वर्तमानु वर्धन्ते मनुष्या पार्थ सर्वशः. Should I not carefully engage in action at any time, the great harm will come to the world, as the man will follow my way in all matters. So Krishna being at the helm of the affair, Krishna being somebody who is looked forward to by all. So he says that I am the leader of the society. And if I do not work, then others will follow my path and they will stop working. And the world will come to a standstill. So working is extremely, extremely important. But working for the sake of working for the sake of duty, working for the sake because it is my work and I must do it, and then leave the results to the circumstances, leave the results to the universal powers, because there are so many things which are happening simultaneously across the world, which are actually going to contribute to the final result. The learning here is, the teaching here is by the Lord, that we must do what is in our control, and we must do perfectly. He, at another point of time, he says, Yoga Karmsu Koshalam, ki yog kya hai? What is yoga basically? Yoga is the culmination, the combination of three: the body, the mind, and the soul, finally leading to the Almighty. So the combination of these three actually is the yoga. And he says ki karm ka koshal, yoga karmsu koshalam. So you need to work in such a way that your work only becomes the God, and you give this offering of your work to the God, and rest you leave it to him. So that's where I think the time is up. So I leave it here. You can ask your questions in case you have any.
Yeah, we don't feel like having to bring the session to a halt now, but we are coming towards the last part of the session, and we would like to hear your thoughts or your questions if you have any before we proceed any further.
Hi, Ashish.
Yeah.
Here, can I take a minute to kind of share something?
Sure, Krishna, sure.
First of all, Ashish ji and Rakesh ji, thank you very much. Rakesh ji, especially to you, because this session has really set a very different context personally for me, while this happens to be my first session that I'm attending. And some of these things are just so profound. I'm just making my notes. Body, mind, and soul is the culmination of yoga. And I think so the way we understand yoga is completely different. So, these are things which I think are here to stay. Process happens in the present and the result is of the future. I really feel that I don't know how much of this I could have assimilated right now, but I think so such a profound takeaway from me, that I'm really awestruck. I've written it twice, not once, on my this thing. And the other thing that you spoke about is education is what you implement in your day-to-day life. And that's where you see that people, despite not being extremely educated, I think so, have a much better life in the way how they conduct themselves. And very well educated people have a very different way of behaving. So I really, really look forward to counting on more from you, sir. And I think so, it's been such a pleasure listening to you. It's been an, I would say, I don't think so we've done 45 minutes. That was the feeling I was having. And just wanted to thank Ashish ji for letting me be part of this mindfulness and mindful living. So ever grateful, sir. Thank you so much. And
Thank you very much. Thanks. Sir.
I'm
Thanks.
really, really, really touched by your words today. Thanks for sharing the knowledge, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Krishna. That's very encouraging. And friends, a lot of you have been sharing your feedback on the chat through the session. We really appreciate that. But we also have a small feedback form for you. It will take you less than 30 seconds to fill out that feedback form. So we are sharing the link in the chat. Please take 30 seconds and fill out the feedback form. And once you have filled out the feedback form, please type FD in the chat box so that we know you have filled out. FD, feedback done. Radhan sir, you were saying, sir, you would like to share something?
I think I agree. What has been already spoken is a wonderful session, and some of the highlights, in fact, you mentioned about the work and also the education particularly. And you also mentioned, Rakesh ji, about those, why ultimately, because many a times there's a confusion if the result is not forthcoming. And particularly in the business school context, we are always bothered about the outcome. And if there is no outcome, there's normally we find there's a lot of stress, anxiety, and those things really happening, because that's what we not only we teach, but also the students, they feel it. Yes, I think it's a competitive world. But sometimes there's a confusion that in a competitive world, how really we should try to get into that. And but I think you really made it very clear that yes, results can be probably you don't bother. Process is more important. And I think, and I believe that way, I'm sure you will agree, Rakesh ji, when you are focusing on doing work, results will automatically come. I think that is what really happens. It may not be 100%, maybe 90% is there. And that is what I would like to add, because that's not really being totally out of the result-oriented focus, because there has to be somewhere in the business school outcome-based or result-oriented. But focus definitely has to be on the process, and we also has to be focusing on the work. So nice of you. In fact, that's what my takeaway. In fact,
So one statement I would like to add here, Ratanji, what you are mentioning is right. When it comes to the result focused, we definitely should set goals. Definitely should set goals. We should look around what is happening in the competitive world. We should look at our competition, and we should also look at that how should we do better in comparison to what we are doing a couple of years ago. What should be our growth? We should also look at what is our while setting the targets, while setting the goals, we should also look at that what is our ambition. So there are different ways of setting the goals, but we should definitely set the goals. But after setting the goals, we should spend huge time on planning the work, planning the process, and then we should go full hog in implementing. The quality of execution will only create the result if at all the results can be in your favor. You just keep thinking about the result never actually gives you that kind of impact, because the life is made of a simple principle of cause and effect. Your cause is your work. So you need to cause the effect, the result through your action. So improve your action, do your bit, and rest will come. Rest assured.
yeah, I think you said it very rightly. I think this is goal has to be set. Maybe results is the final outcome. I think you said it so beautifully. Thank you very much, Rakesh. In fact, it's made things very clear even for people like us when we are talking outcome-based, even education and things like. And Ashish, thank you very much. In fact, you really bring people, those who are really provide a different perspective of life through, of course, our own Gita and other scriptures. So wonderful. In fact, I must thank you, Ashish ji, and of course, Ashmita ji. You always bring people in. So yeah, it is event. So nice of you. Thank you very much. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, sir. It is our honor to have
Thank you,
speakers
Ratan ji.
like Rakesh ji and audience, that includes luminaries like you. So we are really honored to have you. In case those who are here would like to be part of our community and attend future sessions, please click on the link that we have shared in the chat and join our WhatsApp group. Next Saturday also, we have got an exciting session where next Saturday is 1st of January. So it's the first day of the new year. And we have an captain from Indian Navy talk about Gita in warfare. So that's another interesting perspective we will have. So please join our community, be a part of our community, learn about awesome stuff that is already available to us, but not taught in the school. Somewhere I feel that our education system is kind of letting us down by not equipping us with the life's instruction manual that Rakesh ji was talking about. This should be a part of the school curriculum, but has been largely missed out. Few schools have it, but mostly it has been missed out of our education system. So that is what we try and share in our community sessions. How can we lead life healthily, healthier, wealthier, happier? So that's from 2 bits from our side. Any questions or comments we would like to take? We have some more, we have about 8 minutes. So there is a comment from Simran Rakesh ji. She says the best learning has been that our focus should be on work rather than result. And we should cherish that process of, working rather than be worried about the results.
Very right. Very right. Absolutely.
Would you like to share some more, Rakesh ji? There is a lot more that you had on your plate. I kind of interrupted you in between, but if you would like to continue sharing, I think we have, a few more.
No, I think about this only. I can share a little more about the importance of the work, and there are so many other factors apart from the work which are actually controlling the outcome. And there is a tendency that we feel disappointed when our results are not coming. We may be working hard and we think that we have done so much, but still the results are not coming. But the Lord says that karmanyavadhikarastu ma phaleshu kadachana. ये एक लाइफ का प्रिंसिपल है और वो आपको क्लियरली बता रहे हैं कि आपको सिर्फ अपने काम के ऊपर फोकस करना है। वो फिर अर्जुन को ये भी कहते हैं आगे कि अगर आप जीतोगे तो आप धरती का राज भोगोगे और अगर आप हारोगे तो आप स्वर्ग में जाओगे, which means that whether you get the result which you want or you don't get the result, in both the situations you are actually the winner. Because if you don't get the result, you will at least get the experience, you will get the learning, and probably you will be able to equip yourself better for next event. Next time you will be able to do better. तो जो experience हमें मिलता है, the kind of experience you get in this entire process, that actually makes you the winner. And he says very clearly that in both the situations, whether you win or you lose, you have to take both in the same way. Now here it is a bit difficult because we have been designed in such a way that something which is not favorable, we feel sad about, and something which is favorable, we feel happy about. But the universe has not categorized anything favorable or unfavorable. We have done that. Now he says that everything is giving you something. Whatever is happening is actually neutral, and you can get something from everything. Even the bad things give you lots of things. Now it is up to you that you must deal with both the situations in life with the sense of equanimity. you have to feel the same way, whether it is good or bad, and then you will feel happier. Otherwise, you will find that morning till evening, there are lots of things we come across to, and sometimes we feel good, the another time we feel bad, and another time we feel bad again, and so on and so forth. So most of the time we are only feeling bad. Okay. And we feel so bad that we actually become habitual of feeling the bad, and we don't even realize that we are actually feeling bad, because that's how we have been practicing. There is a interesting story around it, that uh, there was a man who went to one of his friend, and he saw that in the drawing room, on the one side of the drawing room in the corner, there was a dog which was sitting there. And in between, when these two friends were talking, this dog was making some painful sound. He was like sort of crying. He was saying, like this he was doing. So this friend asked that, what is this happening? Why is this dog making this crying sound? He said, where he's sitting, underneath him, there's a nail. And that nail is continuously piercing him and creating problem for him. So he said that, okay, but why is this dog not getting up from here? He can sit somewhere else. Why is he sitting here? So he said that it is not paining that much. It is paining, that nail is paining, but it is actually not paining that much, which means that we all have become habitual of this pain. But the reality is that there is no pain, and we have given this name of the pain or the happiness or whatever. Like, so he says that try and practice something. We only need to become aware. If you become aware, then we start realizing that yes, the teachings are real. There are lots of people who have just abandoned Gita because they don't understand, or because they don't find those teachings practical. They simply say that they are impractical. But the reality is that every bit of it is practical. Every bit of it is practical. And since we don't pay attention, we just drop it. And क्योंकि वो हमारी मान्यता है, हम कह देते हैं कि it is impractical, so we don't even try to implement it. And we get devoid of such a benefit, such an advantage which we can get from this book.
Thank you, Rakeshji. I think that is where the work that you are doing is so amazing, that you are making this complex, making this book which appears to be complex to people appear simple. Make it understandable to people like us who are caught up in our daily activity and don't take out the time to really study its depth. I would like to share with everybody that Rakeshji has studied many books. I would not like to quote how many, but many books on Gita. He's got a very unique perspective, and he's also in the process of writing a book. I'm not sure if you would like to share the title of the book, but maybe you can guess it. Those who are in this program can guess the title of the book. There is one question we have, Rakeshji, and maybe that's the last question we will take before we close the session. That's from Dr. Shilpa. She says, it is said that work should be done without thinking of result. My question is that when we do planning about carrying out a task, then obviously we plan for achieving desired results, ultimately fruits. What should be done? So I think she's caught up. We say that don't focus on results, but when we plan the work accordingly, we are actually working towards the result. So how should one go about it?
Right. So thank you very much for the question, and very interesting one. And I appreciate you asked it. Planning is also a work. planning is a work before the result. Planning itself is not the result. So we definitely need to do a thorough planning. The Lord says that karmanyeva adhikaraste. कर्म में ही, कार्य में ही आपका अधिकार है, उसी को आप better and better करिए. So planning is also the part of your duty. Planning is also the part of your work. So you need to do a thorough planning, keeping the result in mind. Okay, but at that point of time, as I said earlier, the setting goal is only one act, and after that you just don't work on the goal, because you don't have the complete right on achieving the goal. So where you have the right and where you should work, you should do a thorough planning, you should do thorough research, you should do a complete work breakdown structure, and give responsibilities to the people, and give them all the tools and techniques so that they can execute it thoroughly. Give them all the motivation, let them upgrade their skill, let them continue doing the best of the possible work and execution, and finally you will see that they will feel happy during the journey itself. They will feel motivated and they will feel blessed during the journey itself, before the result actually come. And as I told you, the another law of the universe is the cause and effect. So possibly the result might get achieved, but if the result is not getting achieved, at least you can say that fine, I did not get the result, but whatever was there in my hands, I did my best. So I am satisfied. So I'm satisfied. So it's a great sense of achievement if you have done everything possible in your hand, and the rest you leave it to the universe. Okay. I would like to give you a perspective here. Ashish, if you give me just 2 minutes. Ashish, are you there?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Please. Please
Okay.
carry on. Yeah. I was on mute. Please carry on, sir.
Huh. So there's you are all familiar with the cricket match. There are so many matches which are lost by the world-class teams because they could not win the toss, but they were the great performers. They were having the best skills. Okay, what I'm trying to tell you is that even when you do your best on the field, still there is a possibility that you might lose it, because it is not only the work which is contributing. There are so many other factors which are working simultaneously. I'm only trying to tell you that. So if you are determining your worth only by the results, then you are mistaken and you are going to feel sad about it. You are only going to feel disappointed about it. So focus on what you can do and leave the rest to the universe to decide. Okay. So that's extremely important.
That's a great insight, Rakesh ji. And I also remember what you were sharing with me earlier, that in the in the Olympics, the difference in the skill sets of people who win gold, silver, or bronze is hardly any difference in the skill set. So, one should focus on, once you're on the track or once you're playing the sport, is focus on doing your best rather than worry about whether you're going to get gold or silver.
Absolutely, absolutely. If you are looking around that how the others are playing, whether I'm going to win or not, then you will lose track from your work and you will finally actually lose only.
Usha ji, do you have a question or a comment?
No, not really. I was just saying, yes, you're right.
Okay. Thank you. All right. Thank you, everybody, for participating actively and joining us today, participating actively. Thank you, Rakesh ji, for the awesome insights. As you can see, people have benefited so much from the session, and I'm sure we are going to come back to you. This is the feedback that we received. We're going to come back to you and request you for more time and more sessions, on this topic. There is just one poem which I find very relevant in the context of the discussion which we have had, and I'll share that poem, and we'll bring the session to a close. This I heard from Swami Subodhanand ji, and it is very nice. क्यों डरें जिंदगी में क्या होगा, क्यों डरें जिंदगी में क्या होगा, हर वक्त में क्यों सोचे बुरा होगा, हर वक्त में क्यों सोचे बुरा होगा, बढ़ते रहें मंजिलों की तरफ, बढ़ते रहें मंजिलों की तरफ, कुछ ना मिला तो क्या होगा, कुछ ना मिला तो क्या होगा, तजुर्बा तो नया होगा. So friends, don't worry about the outcome. Keep walking towards your goals. This is the last session in 2021 that we are doing. We are blessed to have all of you. Keep walking towards a brighter future in 2022. We are also conducting a program on 29th of December on goal setting and creating your life consciously. In case you are interested in attending that session on goal setting, please type GS in the chat box, and we will reach out to you and send the invitation to that program. It's a complimentary session which we are doing on Wednesday at 8:28 p.m. So if you're interested, please type GS in the chat box and we'll reach out to you. And thank you once again, everybody. Thank you, Rakesh ji. And Merry Christmas to everybody. Please unmute yourself. Wish everybody Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and signing off 2021.
Merry
you,
Christmas,
thank you,
everyone.
thank you,
Happy
thank
New
you.
Year. God bless you all.
Merry Christmas, everyone. Happy New Year.
Enjoy.
Merry
Thank you very
Christmas,
much,
Christmas and
Rakesh
Happy New
everybody.
Year
ji.
to everybody.
Thank you very much, Rakesh ji, for
Merry
the session.
Christmas.
Thank you,
Thank you,
thank you.
Ashish,
Thank
for
you.
that wonderful poem, sharing the wonderful poem. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Manoj.
Great session, wonderful. Lot of learning. Great,
Thank
great,
you.
Ashish. Rakesh ji, wonderful.
Thank you very much. Thank you. It's my
A
pleasure.
new perspective.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you.
Though we look for perfect solution in an imperfect world, but then it's an attempt. We should try always. Let's not
Yeah.
get disheartened.
Absolutely.
And that's always the thing. So,
True that.
because even new education policy says it's outcome based and it is result oriented. But then these are all the things which are there in any way. So process is more important. Work is important. Those things will come automatically.
Exactly. That's what Ashish ji said, that कुछ ना मिला तो क्या होगा, एक तजुर्बा तो नया होगा.
तजुर्बा होगा. जी हाँ.
Great.
When you are working in the organization, boss will tell you क्या तजुर्बा है तुम्हें. So that happens. So that's what I said. We look for perfect solution in that imperfect world, but this is a personal development, transformation. I think that is required. I'm sure that is important. This is very important. Great. Rakesh, you wonderful.
Thank you. Thank you, Ratanji. Thank you very much.
Great.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Asmita ji. Wonderful. Great.
Thank you, sir.
Right.